Hi, I'm Congresswoman Sewell, and I want to thank you for joining me for a very special Breast Cancer Awareness edition of Terri Talk. Today, I am thrilled to be joined by a very special guest who I will introduce in just a moment. A woman who has turned her pain into purpose and is a true warrior in the fight against breast cancer. Now, as you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, giving us an opportunity to shine a spotlight on the impact of this terrible disease and to redouble our efforts to prevent it, to treat it, and eventually find a cure. Roughly 242,000 Americans are diagnosed with breast cancer each year, and of those, roughly 42,000 will lose their battles. For Black women, the numbers are particularly staggering. Indeed, from 2016 to 2020, Black women died from breast cancer at a rate 39% higher than their white counterpart. 39% higher than their white counterpart. In Congress, I have made it my mission to reduce these glaring racial disparities and to fight for a world without cancer. So, as we kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Week, I want to highlight one of the most useful and valuable tools in the fight against cancer, and that's early detection. For those of us who have stood beside our loved ones battling cancer, the best words to hear from your doctor is, but we caught it early enough. Until now, early detection tools have been limited. But today, thanks to cutting-edge advancements, new blood-based cancer screenings are emerging with the promise of catching it earlier to treat it before it spreads. Tragically, we know that unless Congress acts, it will take a decade or longer before Medicare has the authority to cover these new cancer screenings after they are FDA approved. That is why I am proud to lead the legislation in Congress to create a pathway for Medicare to cover these new cancer screenings. Not only would this legislation help our seniors catch cancer earlier, but it would also reduce the glaring racial disparities we see in the outcomes. Last Congress, I was so proud that this bill received a majority support, bipartisan majority of both the House and the Senate, but we weren't quite close enough to get it passed. This Congress, we have renamed the bill in honor of my late mother, Miss Nancy Gardner Sewell, who lost her battle with pancreatic cancer in 2021. Now, hear me when I say that I am committed to harnessing our momentum to get this bill passed and signed into law. No family has been spared the scourge of cancer. What keeps me going is knowing that what we do today will save countless lives in the future. And I'm especially grateful that we have strong advocates like my special guest in our own community. So without further ado, I am thrilled to welcome Miss Brenda Phillips-Hong. Miss Brenda is the founder of Brenda's Brown Bosom Buddies, a Birmingham-based organization dedicated to supporting education and early detection of breast cancer for minority, low-income, and underserved women and men. As a breast cancer survivor herself, she has dedicated the past 30 years of her life to empowering those diagnosed with breast cancer and their families through her nonprofit. On a personal note, I was quite honored to be named Miss Brenda's 2023 Ambassador of Hope at her annual Sister Strut walkathon event last week. I am so proud to consider her a close partner and ally in our fight to eradicate cancer and to save lives. Miss Brenda, thank you so much for joining us.
It is absolutely my pleasure and honor to be with you today.
Well, I want to start by just asking what your inspiration was to actually start your nonprofit. Will you talk a little bit about your own journey and how your journey led to this nonprofit?
Um, this all started in Detroit, Michigan. I was there working, and I was diagnosed here in Birmingham because I live between the two cities. And upon being diagnosed, uh, I went to California for treatment because of the company that I was working for. They afforded me that opportunity. After coming back to Detroit, there was no place that I went to be able to get the support that I felt I needed. I was single, I was African American, no children, and no real family in Detroit, Michigan. So it's like if you see there's a need, if you feel there's a need, you begin to know that something has to be done. All of it started as a social thing where we would just gather um, at a restaurant called Sinbad's. And we would gather sometimes during the week, mostly on the weekend on a Friday. And actually, our name, Buddies, from the bartender, because we would all gather and not all at the same time. And he would always say, "Well, your buddies are right around there." Or something.
It's
And that
nice to have buddies when you're going through something tough.
absolutely, and those were buddies. Two of the ladies weren't even breast cancer survivors; they were just friends who felt my need and tried to help me out to not just go through it, but to go through it with me.
Yes.
And one other young lady was from my hometown, Pratt City, and she too was a breast cancer survivor. So finding the need to have somebody that you can talk to who looks like you, who understands like you do, brought all of this forward. And then when I moved back to Birmingham, I found that same need. Only this time we wanted to become a 501c3 so we could do more than socialize, so that we could help people, so that we could place people in a position that they would know that it's important for them to get a mammogram because it all starts with education.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
your organization, Brenda's Bosom Buddies, is so great at not, it's a targeted outreach for minority and underserved women and men. And I am just thrilled because we see the need. Can you talk a little bit about the racial disparities that occur, not just in breast cancer, but all throughout health outcomes, and how you are doing your part by bringing awareness and by showing and telling folks where these services are. You are actually bringing down the number of people who are actually getting breast cancer, but also those who are diagnosed early enough that we can actually do something about it. Can you talk a little bit about the health disparities among Black women?
First of all, I think with Black women, minority women, women of color, we have the tendency to want to take care of everybody else. And then if we find time in a certain slot, then we'll try to do something for ourselves.
Yeah.
The disparity to me starts with not having that concern for ourselves. The public disparity is the fact that we don't have insurance, a lot of us. We
Yes.
don't
Yeah.
have insurance. And when we come into this era where we know that people don't have insurance, and it's not just poor people, it's people going from one job to the next.
Yes. Or sometimes people who are working 40-hour weeks. I often
Yes,
say that there are working people who literally work every day, all through the week, the 40 hours, and they still cannot afford their own insurance.
that's right. And a lot of companies don't have health insurance as a benefit. So now you're left to, do I pay my rent and my car note and help my kids, or do I try to get insurance? And sometimes it just doesn't appear to be
Yeah.
that important, but
Yes.
it truly is. We come in, my personal experience is that I know that you have to get a mammogram. The type of breast cancer that I had, they were calcifications, little granules. There is no way I could have ever felt that.
Yeah.
So if you don't get a mammogram,
It was a routine mammogram that helped discover your breast cancer.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, a routine mammogram. And so to provide people with information and then not be able to help them to get what they need, then that's kind of short sighted. So that's why we went with information first, because of the disparities of people not having insurance or the ability to pay or a job that's going to put them in a position to have benefits. We got with um, hospitals to pay for mammograms for people who could not afford
Awesome.
them.
That's so awesome.
Yes, we started with Brookwood. Um, then we joined St. Vincent.
Yeah.
Then finally we got to Princeton.
Yeah.
And through the links, we were able to work with UAB as well.
That's so awesome.
So we have that much covered. We're so happy for the people who help us to help others.
Yes.
The disparity that we have nationally.
Mm-hmm. 39%
Yeah.
more often than our white counterparts.
Yes, we and that's because I think we don't take care of ourselves the way that we should.
Yeah. And we're
We,
not, we can't afford preventive care. We often live in food deserts, and we
mm,
often don't have the money to join some gym. And,
right.
it's so, I think that it's stacked against us from the start, which is why I am so proud that this administration, Biden, has put a premium on equity.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean that you have to have equal resource, but it's an acknowledgement that there needs to be first a help with those who don't have, and then expansion of those who do. And so I just am so thrilled that you are not only located in those hospitals and not only providing mammograms, but what a great support system. I don't know about you, but I remember when my mom was first diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and we knew her time was short. And it was traumatic for her family. And we just didn't have a place where we felt comfortable
mhm.
talking about what we were going through, the fears, the frustration with the medicine. And I can only imagine that you serve that purpose too.
We do. We work with other organizations as well. We work with Forge, which is an organization that is so very, very helpful with counseling. Um, our organization is a somewhat of a placement
Yeah.
organization agency, let's say, or unit, because when you have units, then that means you have unity, and you can all come together to help where there needs to be help applied. To have someone that you can talk to means sometimes more than having a health physician
Yeah.
or a nurse or somebody to tell you what a person has already gone through.
Yes. Yes.
Can help you to prepare yourself
Yes.
for what you,
And your family. Yeah.
yes, and your family. We have some gentlemen who belong to our organization, and they are so comfortable around ladies and the men who
Because
come on
because
board.
men get breast cancer too. This is
Absolutely.
not just
Absolutely.
a women's disease.
Absolutely. And to see the guys talk to the ladies who come aboard, who just come to some of our, because we have community health forums,
Yes.
and that's one of our educational things. And we go into the high schools as well.
Very good.
Yes, to familiarize. We're considering now going into junior highs as well. We just have to get a certain kind of curriculum that's acceptable so that we
Right.
can use a certain type of terminology.
But
So,
isn't it important early detection? We know that that is the best prevention and
yes,
the best protection. If we just regularly during the month of October, choose your month,
yes,
but every year have your mammogram. And as I'm noticing the trend that African American women get it at earlier ages than white our white counterparts.
yes.
Another reason why you're going in and bringing awareness to our high school youth is so important. Can you talk about early detection and how that is the best protection that we
Yes, it is the best protection because, as I mentioned earlier, early detection means you need to go get a mammogram.
Yes.
Yes, self examination is fine. But as I said earlier, there is no way I could have felt a little grain of salt. Like,
Yeah.
there is no way. So, early detection means a lot. First, it means that you have a better opportunity.
Yes.
I can tell you that being diagnosed with breast cancer is not a death sentence
Yes. Say
because,
that again.
yes, I am a 33-year breast cancer victor. And it came twice. Once I had a lumpectomy, it came back, and then I had a mastectomy. Early detection means that you have a better chance of living.
Yes.
It means
And I
that,
love that you said you're not just a survivor, you're a victor.
yes, I am,
You are a breast cancer victor.
Victor. I so like using Victor as opposed to Survivor. Either one, they're interchangeable. I just like the way Victor sounds because it
Well,
sounds like
it's
you
like
won.
you won and you
Yes,
did.
yes, yes, you won. So early detection means, as I said, you have a better chance at life because that's what this is all about anyway. Being able to live a life, being able to live a life fulfilled without being afraid. You're never going to lose that anticipation. Oh my God, will it come back again? And the way you keep that away is to keep your mammograms. Keep
Yes.
going. Don't forget that you have to live life to the fullest in order to live life to the fullest.
That is so
So I ask people during COVID, I didn't go and get my mammogram when I was supposed to. I was afraid to go near a hospital,
yeah.
drive by one.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, yeah, I know I'm not. But once you know that this is going to give you the chance of a lifetime to go and get a mammogram,
Yeah.
you can't dismiss it. You can't dismiss it. There are some cancers that there is no test for it.
Like pancreatic.
Absolutely. And by the time as you well know, by the time you discover that it's there, it's already too late.
Yes.
So to get a breast exam, like I said, even your doctor to give you a breast exam, your self breast examination, you have to go get a mammogram. I can't say it too many times.
Yes.
And the earlier, the better.
Yes. It's just good habit
Yeah.
to not only know your breasts, because there's a big campaign around self examination and people being just familiar so that you could tell if there's a lump or, or something is new that appears. And we can do that in the shower and we
Mhm.
can do that anytime. But
Yes,
nothing takes the place of having a mammogram.
that's right.
As you said, sometimes those granulars are so small. And so just figuring out when you're going to do it and then doing it annually. Make that appointment
Yes.
annual. And I know that there are lots of organizations that will pick folks up and take them to the hospital. I know that your organization, when you call, you have access to all kinds of services. And so sometimes just understanding where to go and who to ask for what
Yeah.
is the problem. And that is something that Brenda's Bosom Buddies, your nonprofit, does a very good job of.
We as I said, we try to be there to point out the resources. Uh, there is not one organization that does everything.
Yes.
That's why it's important to partner. That's why it's important to get to know what is available so that you can share that information. Um, there's an organization, what you said earlier about people getting younger being diagnosed.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, and there's a young lady has an organization called Pink Tops, and it's
Yeah.
for, yes, for younger women. And we partner with them. We want to get people in a position where they know they have to get
Yes.
a mammogram.
And
They
they know where to go to get
They
it.
know where to go to get it. They know how important it is.
Yeah.
They know where they can go. Now, we do transportation, but we don't take people for mammograms. We take you once you've been diagnosed, we will take you to a local cancer treatment center. But there are other organizations that will give you a card,
Yeah.
a gas card or card to go. So coming together to help each other is a part of what we want to convey today and every day, that there is help. We want to help, but
Yes.
yes, but we want you to understand the importance of
Of
early
helping
prevention.
yourself. You've got to
Yes,
meet us halfway. Nothing takes the place of us being, knowing our bodies, going to get those, you know, wellness visits,
yes.
going to get those, and especially if you've had a history of breast cancer.
Mhm.
My mom had pancreatic, and we didn't have a history of it, but it turns out we did. Like after my mom passed, they didn't know what form of disease my great great aunt had, but we know that she had stomach problems. She was, and so can you talk to us about just understanding your history, your family history? And
Yes,
sometimes people can't, but those of us who can have a family tree, talk about this so that we know that you have to be extra vigilant
yes.
about getting your mammograms.
There are certain people who don't like to talk about uh, their family history.
Yeah,
I myself had people in my family who were breast cancer survivors that I did not know that they
yeah,
were.
yeah,
So it is important that we not only talk about it, but we chart it. We put it in the minds of those who
yeah.
come behind us so that, like you said, your aunt, your
Yes, my
great,
great great grandmother's sister, and
yeah,
then her sibling, one of her siblings. And so it went down that tree,
hmm,
and we didn't know, and we didn't know what signs. And as you said, often because there's no screen, I mean, we are so blessed that we have a screen that could actually detect breast cancer
that's
early. And there are all kinds of cancers, but there are only five that have a screen. And I remember, I'm now dating myself, but I remember when colon cancer was the kiss of death.
right. Hmm.
And I remember Katie Couric from Today's
Yeah.
Show lost her husband at 38 years old, and
Mhm.
she made her cause celeb finding a screen for colon cancer. And 26 years later, look at us. We even have a home detection kit
Mhm.
for colon cancer.
Yeah.
And so we have to, as I love to say, turn our pain into purpose.
Yes.
And you have found for your purpose breast cancer awareness, and especially among women of color.
Ye-
And we are so much better as a community because of your willingness, your persistence, your passion. can you talk to us about your passion? And can you also tell our audience where they can go to find out more about your nonprofit?
The passion that I have is, I don't know where it comes from other than it comes from my heart. It comes from knowing that there are people who did not make this journey.
Yes,
I have some close friends who did not, who started on this journey but did not come to the end with a victorious ending. I just want people to know that you don't have to have money to live a good life.
that's right.
Yeah, you have to have an understanding. You have to want to share.
Hmm.
Yes, what, and not just material things. You have to learn to share knowledge.
Yes,
You
information.
yes, information. If you know of some place where people can get help, it's not going to hurt you a bit. Your help that you were getting is not going to be cut off because you bring somebody else in. To me, that is passion
Yes,
because it's purposeful
yes,
assistance. It's making people aware that they don't have to be alone
absolutely.
and you don't have to just kind of disappear within a room when there are people in the room who will help you to
That's
find
right.
hold. They will help you to be everything that you want and can be. The passion that people have for other people, to
Yes.
me,
Well,
is
yours is infectious. I mean, you do this annual walk. I love it. Sister Strut.
yeah,
And you most recently had one in Legion Field last
yes,
Saturday that
yes,
was so well attended. And
it,
I can only imagine every year it grows and grows. And I was so upset, not just about the government shutdown or potential of a government shutdown, but that you had given me the great honor of being the ambassador of hope and I wasn't able to be there. But I hope you know that next year,
yes,
next year you can count on me. And I hope you know that all of us can do our part, right?
yes,
Some of us can actually, write legislation and try to change people's lives through public policy.
absolutely.
Others can do it through advocacy. And that's what you're doing. You're advocating. And people often see the glory and don't know the story. They
Ah,
see you flourish and your beam and how you glow now, but they don't know your story. And sometimes people can learn from your story. And
yes,
this disease doesn't matter if you're black or white, doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It is one of these cancers that cuts through all of the socioeconomic uh,
mhm,
statuses. And so it's important to find your place. There's something humbling to know that you can find a group of Black women and men in your community that may have gone through it. And maybe you don't want to talk to the bigger group, but you just want to talk to someone. And
yes,
I understand that you help to make those connections.
yes. Um, I'd like for everyone to know, especially about Sister Strut. It is free and open to the public. You can come and you can walk, run, ride. They have people on bikes and everything. So don't be dismayed because you see that it is $35 to register. That's because you get a T-shirt and food and all that kind of thing. But you can still come and
Yes,
join in. You can still come and get information. You can still come and listen to the stories of people, not just on stage, but people in the audience who talk
yes,
to each other and come together in order that you can find out things that you didn't know about breast cancer. For our organization, we would like for any and all to call us at May I give the phone number?
Yes, you can, and the website. And
Okay.
I think that my folks are so great, they are going to scroll it across the screen.
Oh, great, great.
So
Well,
go ahead.
yes, if you'd like to call us to talk to us about anything, I want to let you know that we do offer housekeeping for women who have recently been diagnosed and currently undergoing treatment. We offer, as I said, transportation to local breast cancer treatment centers. And we work through the Birmingham Black Nurses
Oh,
Association.
very good.
Yes, where we give
Another really great organization.
really great organization. We give a scholarship assistance award annually to students who are interested in breast cancer, nursing
Yes.
students. And of course, we give the mammograms. And any way that you can help us by sending people to us,
Yes. Or
by
giving contributions, because I
yes,
know that this is not
contributions
free.
as well, because there's none of us have a heritage where we can donate all of the funding that we need. So without organizations like the Links and AKA Sisters and Sheriff Petway, it is just people who come together to see that we are trying to help.
Yes.
They see what we're doing. They hear what we're doing, and most people say there's nothing like word of mouth, and that's all we can have because we can't afford to go on TV to tell
That's right.
you what we're doing. So we can go to our website, www.brendasbrownbosombuddies.org. Our phone number is area code 205-588-0703. And that is to give information, to get information, to pass any information that you want to share for us to share with our folks. So,
Oh, there it is up on the screen now.
oh, look at that. Thank you guys. Yeah, wonderful.
This is another way of meeting people where they are.
Mhm.
The social media and the internet is another way that you can reach people.
Yeah.
And so today, it has been my pleasure and honor during this Breast Cancer Awareness Month of October to have a warrior, a victor
Yeah.
from the Birmingham community. Miss Brenda, thank you so much for all that you do. And I see that we're scrolling not only the number, but now we're scrolling your email address. And so
Wonderful.
we want everyone to know that there is help here.
Yes.
And you don't have to go through this journey alone. There are services, and I was just I like that you said that you're one of the units, because it's not just, as you said, one place that you can go. And but Brenda's Brown Bosom Buddies.org is a place where you can feel the love, know that you're not alone, and you do a lot of great outreach every day. And we just want folks to know where they can go, and we also want organizations to know that you exist, so that maybe you could partner with new organizations and
Yes.
bring in new resources. It's money well spent, it's time well spent, making sure folks know that this is nothing to play with. We have a screen for breast cancer. So
Mhm.
let's use it.
Let's
Let's
use it.
use it.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So, any parting words you'd like to leave? I'm just honored to have you as our special guest. And most importantly, I am just honored that you're in my community, that you're in our district, that you're one of ours. And we're going to continue to promote Sister Strut. We're going to continue to promote cancer awareness. Any parting words?
I want to thank you for all of the work that you're doing when it comes to getting testing. That's so important, and not a lot of people think about that.
Yeah.
And we want to thank you for being that thoughtful person to try to get help for testing.
Well, those of us who are blessed to represent our communities in Congress or in the State House or locally, we owe a debt of gratitude. This is not just an honor, it's a responsibility.
Mm.
We have a responsibility to make sure that our community is aware of the resources. And where there are no resources, we have a responsibility for trying to find the resources
Yeah.
to give to this fight. That's why I'm so excited about my multi cancer early detection
Mhm.
bill that's making its way through Congress. We introduced it last introducing it this Congress. And what it will do is it will make these early detection specialized treatments available to
Yes.
Medicare recipients. I
Mhm.
mean, there right now it's available, but you have to pay $2,000 or $3,000 to get it.
Yes.
It's not affordable. It's not accessible. And we want it to be widely accessible that with a vial of blood, one drop, they can actually test your DNA and they can actually screen for up to 40 different types of cancers. And
Mhm.
one of them is pancreatic. So
Yes.
I'm going to continue as you are my guiding light, my guiding example. I'm going to continue to fight until we have a screen for pancreatic cancer and we have access. We give access to
Mhm.
early detection
Yes.
for everyone, irrespective of whether or not they can afford it. So I want to thank you again. And to all of the listening audience, again, please, please, please know that in our own community, we do have Brenda's Brown bosombuddies.org. We do have wonderful warriors and victors like Brenda Phillips-Hong. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we'll see you for another edition of Terri Talks.